Animals play a big part in the ecosystem we live in. They can help plants grow by spreading their seeds or pollinating them, and may keep populations of other animals under control. But climate change is affecting animals around the world in many ways. So let's learn how it affects them and what we can do to help. First, let's look at how rising temperatures affect animals. When the climate gets hotter, some animals are forced to migrate to cooler places. For example, studies have shown that since 1970, as the climate has become warmer, birds have shifted their ranges northward by about 3.6 miles or 6 kilometers per decade. That's like moving almost 2.5 football fields every year. This means that as the temperature rises, these birds need to keep moving northwards to find the same climate conditions they need to survive, but there aren't many places left for them to go. Some species, such as the American pika, have nowhere to move except up in elevation. But even then, the higher a species moves, the more difficult it is to find enough food. Rising temperatures also mean that winters are shorter and less snowy. This makes it harder for some animals, such as deer, to find food because snow covers the plant's leaves, which protect the plants from being eaten, and the plants that they depend on for food are not ready to be eaten yet. Also, warm weather leads to drier conditions, which causes some lakes, rivers, and even forests to dry up. This means that animals who live in those areas need to find new homes. And when we talk about animals, we're not just talking about furry, scaly, or feathered friends. It includes all living creatures from tiny insects to huge whales. And all of these animals are connected in some way to the plants around them. As the climate warms up, some plants will grow better, but others will grow worse. Plants that produce food that animals eat might not grow as well, meaning the animals who depend on those plants could struggle to get the nutrition they need. Take polar bears, for example. Their main diet consists of the fat and meat of ringed seals, which mostly live on ice. But as the Arctic warms, ice melts earlier in the year, and polar bears must travel longer distances to find seals to eat, meaning they need more energy to find food. This means that polar bears will need to either spend more time looking for food or travel to different areas where there is still ice. If they can't find enough food, they might not have enough energy to stay alive. Other animals rely on lots of water to stay alive. For example, frogs absorb water through their skin. Without enough water, they can dry out and die. Many animals also need water to cool down. When it's hot, animals can get too hot and die if they don't find ways to cool off. Rising temperatures also lead to more hot, sunny days. This can cause water levels in rivers, lakes, and reservoirs to drop. This makes it hard for fish and other aquatic animals to survive because they need water to stay alive. It also makes it harder for salmon to swim upstream to lay their eggs. On top of this, lower water levels can also mean that some rivers and streams dry up completely. This can stop animals from migrating to their summer homes or make it hard for them to return after they've been traveling. Climate change is also affecting the timing of seasonal events like flowering and mating. As the weather becomes warmer, plants start to bloom and produce fruit earlier. This can be a problem for animals that depend on these plants for food. For example, the caterpillars of the swallowtail butterfly rely on the nectar and pollen from the wild parsnip plant to survive. But if the plant blooms before the caterpillars are ready to eat it, the caterpillars could starve. The warmer weather also means that insects, including butterflies, come out of hibernation earlier. But if their food source hasn't appeared yet, they could end up starving. This can also affect the animals that eat the insects, such as birds. If birds are getting ready to lay eggs but can't find enough food, they might not be able to produce enough eggs or might not have enough energy to sit on their eggs until they hatch. As well as affecting the timing of seasonal events, warmer temperatures can also mean that animals have more babies. For example, since the 1970s, American alligators have been laying more eggs each year. This happens because the sex of baby alligators is determined by the temperature of the nest where the eggs are laid. Warmer temperatures mean more females are born. More females means more babies are produced, and this puts stress on the ecosystem. There are only so many resources available, and more animals means those resources are used up faster. Now let's look at what we can do about this. Protecting animals affected by climate change is important for many reasons. It's our responsibility to take care of the planet and all the living things on it. Plus, animals play an important role in the ecosystem, so taking care of them helps the whole environment thrive. Finally, many animals are simply beautiful and fascinating creatures. Learning about and protecting them helps us appreciate and understand the natural world we live in. There are lots of things we can do to protect animals from the effects of climate change. One way is to reduce our own carbon footprint by using less energy and making sure we recycle. We can also support organizations that are doing the same thing. For example, we can donate money or volunteer our time to help protect animals and their habitats. Finally, we can spread awareness by teaching others about the effects of climate change and what they can do to help. One organization that's doing great work to protect animals is the World Wildlife Fund. They work all over the world to protect endangered species and their habitats. They also work with local communities to help them understand the importance of protecting wildlife and teach them how to do it. The WWF also works with businesses to help them reduce their impact on the environment and make more sustainable choices. Another great organization is the Nature Conservancy. This group works to protect plants and animals around the world by preserving their natural habitats. They also work with farmers, ranchers, and other land users to help them protect wildlife while still using the land for other purposes. The Nature Conservancy also helps people understand the importance of protecting nature and what they can do to help. Finally, there's the Sierra Club. This organization works to protect wild places and wildlife by reducing pollution, fighting climate change, and protecting forests and oceans. They also work with government officials to develop policies that protect the environment and wildlife. The Sierra Club also helps people enjoy and appreciate nature through programs like backpacking trips and nature photography contests. We can also help animals by making changes in our own lives. One easy way to do this is to recycle. Recycling helps reduce pollution and conserve natural resources. We can also make changes around our homes to make them more energy efficient, such as installing solar panels or switching to LED light bulbs. We can also make changes in our daily lives, such as walking or biking instead of driving, using public transportation whenever possible, and carpooling. By making small changes in our own lives, we can help reduce the impact of climate change and protect animals. In conclusion, climate change is having a significant impact on animals around the world. Rising temperatures, changing weather patterns, and more frequent extreme weather events are causing major shifts in animal habitats, food sources, and migration patterns. These changes are forcing some animals to relocate, adapt, or face extinction. Protecting animals from the impacts of climate change is important for maintaining healthy ecosystems, providing us with essential services such as pollination and pest control, and simply because it's the right thing to do. By supporting conservation efforts, reducing our own carbon footprint, and spreading awareness, we can all help protect animals and ensure they can continue to thrive on our planet for generations to come.